Test. Test, 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 test. Test. There we go. There we go. There we go. Everything is working. Here we go. Yeah, it was weird. I don't know what the heck was going on. So it asked me to do a different style of going live tonight, and I have no idea why. I didn't click anything different than I usually do. But we're going now. Everything sounds great. Let's go. So you bought in to Hyliion. That's awesome, man. An honest American. Check out Hyliion. Yeah, for sure. You know, I got in well before the merger. I definitely thought that with the merger, it was going to cause obviously the stock price to go up in the upward direction. I have no problem admitting I was wrong. I got in at $47, and as you guys can see, I am not anywhere close to where that's at right now. So I will definitely be dollar cost averaging down, trying to get that, price down. This is, and what's crazy is Hyliion is no question going to be a long-term play, and they definitely are seeing it that way. And it's definitely a stock that's going to take some time. And I do think a big reason why it honestly isn't, going in the upward direction right now is just because there's no positive catalyst, and a lot of the shorts see it as an easy opportunity to short this stock. And rightfully so. I mean, that's how you do the stock market. You can play the stock market that way. And the new direction and new way of trading is options and shorting and all kinds of things. So it's completely understandable. But it's also Hyliion's responsibility and obviously marketing department to hype their, company up, talk about what they're doing. And I've seen a couple of things. Obviously, they had a couple partnerships come out. They just did a partnership with a company I saw today and yesterday. So, they're making some moves. I just feel like it needs to be promoted a little bit better. It's down because of one presidential debate, two lack of info. Exactly. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about Hyliion. It's definitely one of those stocks that I think one of these days it's going to pop, and it's going to pop tremendously, and we're all going to be like, oh man, I'm glad I was a part of that. Yeah, I mean, there really isn't any bad news. There's nothing bad about it. I think one of the biggest catalysts that's going to drive it up is when they do actually have a quarterly earnings. I think I do think that they are still selling their hybrid option to other people, and I'm kind of wondering. I haven't seen too much, but I'm wondering if they have a backlog as well. That's one thing I was going to dive into. If the next time I do a video on Hyliion, that's one thing I want to make sure I provide, is to see if they have a backlog that they're going to use some of that money that they got with the merger to produce those vehicles. Oh yeah, easily 10 plus. No question. No question. I mean, especially when you're talking, 10 plus states wanting to be fully electric by 2045. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I saw too, Duxter. You said you were thinking about getting into UAVS next week. I'm telling you, I could talk about UAVS for days. I mean, there is so many ties, so many connections, and with that video that I put out today, solidified it for me. And I am going to push as hard as I possibly can to get to 5,000 shares. There's so many connections. They're putting plants. I call them plants. They're actually the distribution centers. I don't know why I call them plants. But the distribution centers are absolutely surrounding where I live. And, obviously, and one of the tweets I saw today, they're putting one actually like right down the street from my house. And so I can't believe the amount of, distribution centers they're putting out there. And then to be able to not only put equity into the company, obviously that they're doing the boxes from. For some reason, I always forget what it's called. Valkyrie. Valkyrie is what it is. I always call it Valkyrie. Valkyrie is what it's called. So, yeah, Valkyrie, that was by far one of the most amazing things I've seen is when they announced that partnership with Valkyrie. I mean, there we go. The ability to have a drone, we always have been talking as of late, the last mile, the last mile, the last mile. I mean, when you're talking drone, you're talking last inch. The last inch. I mean, these things are phenomenal. They drop the box off. The machine on the top of the actual device squares it away, makes sure that it ensures it's going to fit, and it elevates it down into the position. It's unbelievable. Absolutely, absolutely unbelievable. And not only are that it, and the biggest thing too that I found out is that AgEagle is going to be manufacturing those for, this company, for Valkyrie. I keep calling Valkyrie. Valkyrie. Sorry. Yeah, it's amazing they do more than just drone delivery. And that's another benefit too, is the fact that they're into hemp, which is obviously going to eventually take off, and they're into farming, which is never going to go away. I mean, we're always going to need agriculture, and obviously in the heart of America, where they're located in Wichita, Kansas, I mean, they're surrounded by farms, so it only makes sense for that. And then they're just going to absolutely capitalize on the drone delivery aspect. Unbelievable. SBE hit 16 today. Yeah. I've been keeping track of a lot of these, specs, and I've been keeping track of a lot of them, all these different, obviously switchback unit charge point. I think a lot of these are going to start, that one that I did the other day on Momentous. I mean, Momentous, obviously, SPAC is unbelievable. It's a last mile delivery service type thing for space. And they're going to be conducting, a mission with SpaceX here in December. It's unbelievable. I like this option more than I like Virgin Galactic. And the reason is because I do feel that Virgin Galactic provides a service to people, because who doesn't want to go to space? But then you got to start thinking, who has $250,000 laying around just so they can go to space? I mean, I don't. And so I think that the other option, obviously, with Momentous, it's going to provide a better service. They're going to be able to take satellites to space. They're going to be able to provide other companies a service, but then they're also eventually going to get into that aspect where they're sending civilians to space. I think Virgin Galactic is a great idea. I think it's really a stock that was placed and put out at the right time. I think a lot of people are intrigued with that idea. I just think that it just costs so freaking much money, and they're still trying to perfect it, which obviously that's any case. You're trying to always perfect your craft. You're always trying to make it the best, but I mean, what will Tesla dip to around election time? That's a hard one, Anonymous American. It's really hard to say. I honestly don't know too much about how electrical vehicles will respond or react. Obviously, we understand the two different sides have two different opinions when it comes to, fully electric and fracking and all that different stuff. I mean, there literally is a dividing line. But when you're talking actual like dips on one of the biggest I think that Tesla honestly has too much going for it other than getting its water shut off in Germany. I think Tesla's, with them announcing the Model S being reduced down in cost dramatically, that's a big deal. And then if they drop any type of positive catalyst revolving around batteries or anything, I think the stock continues to rise. That's just my opinion. I think it's going to be very suspect with the election coming up. I truly, I originally was thinking that next week was going to be a rough patch just because the election is right around the corner. But I saw an analyst today that came out on Market Watch that said that he still feels the market's going to continue to rise another 5%, which I could see. You do have some major companies about to have some pretty big quarterly earnings. It's hard for me to answer that, man. Like, it truly is. And the reason is because I have benefits for both. I'm not very political. I truly am not. I think both candidates are not great options for the United States of America. I served in the military, so I truly do not feel that either candidate is the best, but I see, both providing certain things. I'm a stock investor and I want what's best for my stocks and what's best for the businesses that obviously I invest in. So whoever's going to do the best for that, that's who I go for. Obviously, I'm heavily involved in electrical vehicles, but I just naturally think that the United States and the world's going to start going that direction anyways. Plus, understanding how some of the government works, I think governors run a lot more than we think, and they have a lot more pull and a lot more say. I might be. Yeah, I know you don't. You're 15. Yeah, man. To be honest with you, I like Trump for certain aspects. I like Trump. If he didn't, if he wasn't all about tweeting, which I truly don't always feel that that's him. I think Trump is very on the outside of politics, and I think that honestly has been one of the best things. Because I feel personally that he is looking out for, businesses, and he is bringing things back to the United States. That is a positive in my mindset. But then I obviously when he pops off and starts tweeting and ranting about stuff and at times it's me, that's where I start, start getting a little irritated. My biggest beef with Biden isn't that, you know, he's old and all that stuff. My biggest beef with Biden is that at times he gets caught up and then he wants to start getting flustered and stuff. And then just answer a damn question. Don't rely on a, teleprompter or having someone in your ear. Answer it if you feel that way. I do agree the debate it was funny, but then it was very frustrating because me serving in the military and having so much respect for the United States of America, when you have two people up there of absolute, like, the highest of the highest, and they have no decency to say sir or vice president or president, and one wants to call one a clown and the other one wants to tell, or one of them wants to say shut up, the other one just wants to continuously interrupt and calls him Sleepy Joe and stuff. Like, to me, that's the utmost disrespect. And they constantly talk about, the United States of America is now becoming a joke. Well, it's becoming a joke because you're losing the credibility of having respect for each other. If you don't have respect for each other, like, my honest opinion is, I don't give a crap if a Democrat is, saying, hey, this is what I feel. At the end of the day, we're all Americans. I don't feel it's the same goes for a Republican. Yeah. Hey, Dexter, honestly, I'm just trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's talk about that. We are pushing the cusp of 700. I need to get to 1,000. Let's go. If you have friends, tell them to subscribe to the best YouTuber out there. Yeah, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get this content out to as many people as possible. I can tell you that it's absolutely amazing what we've accomplished up to this point, because it's not me. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. That's for sure. Most definitely. Anybody have any questions on Workhorse? Because I am excited to answer some questions on Workhorse and how we shouldn't freak out. I don't have any friends that invest. I mean, so I was talking to, it's funny you say that, Dexter, because I was talking to a buddy that I was in the military with today, and I do believe he's a financial advisor now. I could be wrong, but He was telling me how majority of the people have no idea how to invest, how to start investing, and they don't really, understand that at the rate at which they're going by just doing the minimum, they're not going to be able to retire. And I tried to take that approach in my YouTube channel early on, and I tried to not only talk about stocks, but I tried to be, helpful in tips and try to talk about my personal experiences with investing and how I figured out and discovered myself that just by doing the minimum, even at work, by putting in the minimum amount of percentages into your 401k, you're not going to be able to retire easy. And so I started doing some research and really started looking into it. And I started putting videos out, and people wanted nothing to do with it. They wanted to know about the stocks, the up and coming stocks. So that's what I went with. I do feel after I get monetized, after I hit the 1,000 subscribers, I do think I'll start to go back to providing, at least one episode. I call them episodes, but one video a week that is somewhat of a helpful tip, and just kind of breaking down some different things. I appreciate that, Dexter. Man, anybody can climb on board, because this is definitely, I'm here to help anybody the best I possibly can and what advice I can provide, because obviously I am not a financial advisor. What did you do right out of high school? So I went straight to college. I'm not gonna lie, my wife would tell anybody that I clearly had a vision of playing baseball, and I had no intention of worrying or focusing about school. I mean, I got good grades. I went to class every day. I did what I was supposed to do, but my sole purpose of going to college was to play college baseball. And I felt like I had the ability to take it to the next level. And, obviously things didn't work out that way. And so I joined the military, joined the ultimate team. I tell you, that was an eye opener. But what it also did was it made me realize that it's not that I didn't grow up, but I honestly wouldn't be doing stuff like this today if it wasn't for the military. Because, yeah, I definitely I wasn't investment savvy. I wasn't business savvy. I wasn't, worrying about 401k, even when I would even say when I first started, because I was a teacher for a little bit. And even then, I really wasn't into investing. I don't know if it's just because I was, new and, out in the real world and getting things figured out, and just really didn't have an interest in it or what. But one day it clicked, talking to people who have the same mindset you do and want to be as successful as you, and you're surrounded by them, and you have that same course of path, then you start to live that. And that's exactly what happened. I started eating, breathing, sleeping. It was stocks. Like before I go to bed, I would be watching videos on understanding charts and things like that. There he is. I knew he'd be here. What's going on, Tim? Dexter, yeah, honestly, I don't know your entire life situation. I don't, obviously I know you're early on in age. If I had to say honestly, some advice for life would be to honestly just there's just so much. It would be to just truly just focus on a path and stick with it. Don't deviate too much off of it. You're obviously doing really well when it comes to you're talking investments. So, I don't know if you want to go to college. I don't know if you want to join the military. Those are the types of things you'd have to think about, or I would have to discuss with you on. But I think with you doing what you're doing with investments, I think that's awesome. What's going on? Hopefully is it Yug? MPLN. Oh. Oh, Multiplan. No, that's Multiplan. I think you meant to do Multiplan? I'm going good, man. How are you? MPLN. If it's MPLN, Tellurian, it's a natural gas company. Is that what you're trying to get at? There's no chart available. If it's Multiplan, I want to be an accountant, so for sure I have to go to college. Yeah, man. I think that's a great path. My biggest thing too when it comes to college is focus on what the intent and the reason you're there. Like obviously have fun, enjoy it, but it pays off if you get good grades, you attend your classes, and you just do the right thing. Obviously enjoy it, have fun. You know, I partied and I did well, but you're there for a reason. And I started to realize as I got older in age that I probably could have prepared better when it comes to like finances and things like that. And so because I had college, student loan debt. So Yogi talking about MPLN, Tellurian, natural gas company. Well, it doesn't tell me too much about it. This is MPLN. If that's Multiplan, man, I'm all about Multiplan. If it's about Multiplan, go check out my video on Multiplan. I broke that thing down, and I honestly had to break it down for myself just to make sure that I could understand it completely to provide you guys a video. I think it's going to do a service, but I feel that it's going to be a while before that really pays off. Jumped on Ergo today, ticker EAR. What does Multiplan do? So it's not an insurance. Let me check out for Tim real quick, and I'll let you know, Duxter. EAR. Ear stock. Urias Medical Holding. 98 cents? That's a bargain. You've seen the commercial. I'm sure I have. I bet. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen it, Tim. Now that I scrolled down a little bit. Dang, this thing soared 87% on the first trading day. Yeah, I've definitely seen the commercial. I recognize the earpiece as soon as I scrolled down. That's awesome. What is year to date? What was it at? Man, yeah, I did. Huh. That's pretty solid. What does Multiplan do? Yeah, got to that. You've seen the commercial, seen that. I bet bought some Hyliion today. Yes, he did. CCX Emerge. Yeah, Multiplan. Yeah, I think Multiplan. If you guys haven't checked out Yug, if you haven't checked out my video on Multiplan, I highly suggest go watching it. Man, I break it down, and as I would say, Barney style. That means it's as simple as possible, and it's very easy to understand. I put a lot of effort into the video to make sure that I could provide it very simple for you guys. So, yeah, I definitely wanted to provide a well-rounded video. It's definitely not insurance, but what it does, I'll give kind of a brief thing for you, Duxter. So basically what it does is it's the middleman between your doctors and your insurance company. And what they do is they try to find the best prices for you. So that's kind of what they do, but obviously there's a lot more to it. The stock price really doesn't reflect what it's capable of doing yet. I think once we get past the election, that's when you're really going to start to see what this stock's all about. Talking about Multiplan. IPO $18. You're talking good, sir. Thank you. Yep. Tattoo Chef also. Did you see Octonation video on Workhorse? Pretty interesting photos. You haven't. Yeah, is that the one where the upside down USPS model is? I saw that they that was if you set things aside for them to actually take a picture of the amount, I think that one of the biggest things is that they had to they were able to show you the amount of employees that they whether that was just one orientation or the only orientation, there was a decent amount of people there. That's a big deal. And then for them to kind of have a sneaky, like, part of me wonders if that was staged and because they knew eventually someone would catch it, or if they just accidentally, you know, did that and are like, oh no. I think it's big news. So I don't know if you guys remember. It was a couple streams ago. Buddy O'Gara popped in here. He's a man. He's like a mentor to me. He's a great guy, and I was talking to him quite a bit today. And one thing we've kind of talked about is we feel personally that the deal with Workhorse has already been decided, and it's been decided for a long time. And there's nothing that states that the USPS has to announce the contract to the people. There's nothing that is binding them to do that. And so I think Workhorse knows, because and everything that's been occurring as of late, I think states that without them having to say, hey, we've got it, or how much we've got. The reason I say that is because I think they've known, and we were talking about this, they've had to have known back even in July, because they went out and got Hitachi. I still feel that one has not been accounted for in the stock. I just don't know if a ton of people really understand what Hitachi does or is, but that was by far one of the biggest acquisitions as a partner that they could have gotten. I mean, it could potentially allow Workhorse to be international. So put that in there. Then they go out and get $70 million. And then they turn around and go out and get this $200 million. That's $270 million. Now they have cash on hand. They have obviously had for a long period of time now a ownership stake in Lordstown Motors. Obviously, the person who started Lordstown Motors also started Workhorse, basically, and was the former CEO of Workhorse and is now the CEO of Lordstown. And so the stake, the 10% stake, and then obviously the royalties they get from the endurance. I mean, there's a lot of things. And then for them to potentially be able to use Lordstown's plant to produce the vehicles if need be, because they continue to grow. And I think just all this is lining up for them to go get a 160-mile, CARB approved truck. That's a big deal. And they're the only fully electric vehicle that can be sold in all 50 states. And then on top of that, they have an absolute, amazing piece of equipment in the Horsefly that is going to be expanding as we continue to grow. I mean, there is just so much that Workhorse has. And I think that with them talking constantly about prototypes in refrigeration, I mean, you guys have seen my videos. You know exactly where I'm going with all that. And I think what frustrates me the most is that there's so many people out there that haven't done their due diligence on Workhorse, and they're solely in it and they get hyped up, and they're mad that they got in at like $30, which rightfully so. You want to get a part of it. I get it. I completely understand. But those people aren't doing their homework, and they don't understand that with no positive catalyst, and when we have zero news, the stock kind of trends in the same direction every week in the same days. So as you can see, Fridays, if you go back and look, the last 3 Fridays have been absolutely solid for Workhorse. And then Mondays have kind of been somewhat rough at times. So if you stay with that trend, there's no reason why you should have got in the stock at $30. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm a part of Facebook groups because I want to see what people are saying, and it's unbelievable. Diamond hands, my friend. Exactly. All the pieces are there. The puzzle will come together soon for those who don't sell. Sorry if you touched on this already. Nope, I didn't. Yeah, NIO, holy smokes. I tell you, that's what's amazing about Analyst is they can make or break you. That is 100% for sure. And they obviously made Workhorse for 3 days, and then they killed them out in 3 days. And it's the same goes for NIO. I think with NIO, though, the hype is going to stay going. I think that what NIO is doing is that Workhorse isn't doing, and NIO is able to continue to do, is to consistently show numbers in vehicles produced. That's obviously something Workhorse hasn't done yet. They have a big backlog, which if you guys haven't checked out Steve Schrader's interview with TD Ameritrade, you should really go check that out because he kind of, talks about backlogs and where they're at with, their back orders, and their intent to get all these people hired on is to get those backlogs going. So then they're getting vehicles out. And he said somewhere in the upwards of 70 to 80 $1 million, I think, was the revenue that was going to come from completing them backlogs. That's huge. So I think with NIO, though, I think NIO is obviously producing them, the vehicles at a really good rate. I think that they are obviously the biggest thing with NIO was that they needed to find a way to lower cost because they were burning through cash tremendously. I think they're getting to that point where they're not spending as much cash and they're generating, decent amount of revenue. And the biggest thing for me, because I finally did invest in this company, I have been invested in them before, but I've sold. The biggest thing for me that drew me back in was their expansion. They're finally talking about expanding and they're talking about moving to Europe. I think that's absolutely clutch. I think with NIO, I think that they could have a great, deal in China, but I think it's very saturated. I've talked about this. China is very saturated when it's the electrical vehicle market, and it's the largest vehicle market in the world. And so for them to be able to expand out to Europe, who is honestly, is very going to be a very electrical vehicle based, country. The people complaining are going to be surprised in 2 to 5 years. You know what's crazy, Duckster, is I don't think they'll be around in 2 to 5 years as far as in that stock. I think and what's crazy, I've started kind of taking mental notes, and I would almost say, and there's quite a few YouTubers out there too that are the same way. I bet the moment this thing hits $40, a lot of them are going to disappear. And then they'll start, getting in and they'll basically become swing traders. That's why I honestly haven't bought any more. I'm sitting at 1,050. And the reason is because I do not want to mess up my price average. I've already done it once. I completely destroyed it because I was at $3 and I think it actually was like 4 something. But I was sitting at 4 whatever. And I decided to buy to get to the 1,050. I pushed, I think it was 200, 300, 400 shares or something like that at $12, $13. And it knocked me all the way to $9. I'm not going over that $10 mark. I think I'm satisfied with Workhorse. I wish I could have got to 2,000, but now I'm changing my roles, and I'm reversing it into Ag Eagle. And like I said, I'm gonna get to 5,000, no question. I'm gonna push now because for it to stay in the $2 range and not really have any news is an unbelievable in my opinion. I think with them having 0 long-term debt, they had 25 million cash on hand, I believe, and then they obviously put some equity into Valkyrie, and I don't know what that drops in down to. I'm gonna have to find that out because I think they put out a form that will state how much equity they put into them. But for them to be, having equity in Valkyrie and then 0 long-term debt, and I am almost assuring the partnership is with Amazon. I don't see how it's not. I mean, they're building plants completely surrounding Ag Eagle. I mean, I keep calling them plants. Distribution centers surrounding Ag Eagle. I mean, and then the biggest thing I still am just blown away is that Ag Eagle created a 2-year partnership and put equity into and will be manufacturing, their boxes. And it's unbelievable what these boxes do. I mean, the drone literally can pick the box out. It elevates it up from the actual whatever box you put it in, and it's just unbelievable. The biggest thing is that it's in the US. I agree with you on that too. One of the biggest things I've been reading about when it comes to drones is the struggle when it comes to getting parts at a decent price. getting manufacturing for drones in the United States is much cheaper and it's more effective, cost effective. You know, getting them shipped over from Europe, I guess it's been just a pain. I appreciate it, Duxter, man. I put in a ton of effort when it comes to Ag Eagle. I mean, one of the things I really I was talking to the other day, I don't want to just get stuck. I'm trying to be my own person when it comes to YouTube. And I don't want to get stuck in a rut where I'm just doing the same videos on the same companies. I want to completely diversify and constantly provide you guys with so many different, videos and different stocks and specs. Like, I don't want to just create my success on one company and then, get to the point where like I'm solely just burning out that company and there's not a lot of information, not a lot of topics. And, I don't want to just do that. I want to continuously provide you guys what I feel is important and what I think is fun. And if it doesn't get views, it doesn't get views, but that's how I'm going to keep doing it. Man, I'm so stoked on Ag Eagle. Can't thank you enough for the videos. No problem, man. No problem. I bet you'll be surprised when they have quarterly earnings too. I think $3 is not out of the realm. I think $3.50 might not be out of the realm either for them. Tim, I don't know if I ever asked you, what was your price entry for Ag Eagle? I bought some more. I definitely bought some more. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, like, I know I'm not a financial advisor, but I wish I could just talk. I could talk days for Ag Eagle, man. There's so many connections, so many ties. It's unbelievable. I think like they are doing the exact same thing Workhorse is doing, but with the drone market, the drone aspects. They're getting everything accomplished, and they're showing like I said in my video, you have the best of the best when it comes to Amazon. And then you have Ag Eagle, who is a small company, but they are showing that they're the best of the best. And they're like, hey, we're going to show you what we're capable of. We're going to show you we're the best, and we want you to come get us. I just wonder, are they going to merge? Like, not merge, but is Ag Eagle going to get acquired? Or is Amazon just going to keep, doing a partnership where they sign a contract, like a massive contract? I just want to know like how that's going to work. That's awesome, Tim. $2. That's unbelievable. Yeah, I'm in like 250. I lowered my price average down to 250 today, and I'm completely happy with that. If they get with Amazon, it's going to boom. I'm going to try to find it for you guys. There's an analyst out there. There's one analyst, and I've been trying to figure out who it is. Has a price target for Ag Eagle at $453.75. Let that sink in. $453.75 is the price target. This is from the Wall Street Journal. So I have to figure out who, but it's been like, you can find this price target point on multiple websites. There's one guy, and he has it as a buy rating. I think that's unreal. But it says stock price target UAVS high is $453. That would be insane. I would be a millionaire off of one stock. But that just shows you guys by doing your due diligence, doing your homework, doing your research, studying stocks, finding out what is good. It doesn't always necessarily mean you got to dive right in immediately, but by doing your homework and just studying and really finding out things that line up and match when you're talking articles, positive news, really starting to understand what the company is about, what they're doing as a company, and then you start to invest, it means that much more to you. If they get with Amazon, it's going to boom. I agree. But there's also many other companies for UAVS. I agree 100,000% on that as well. And that's another benefit. And the thing you got to think about too, Duxter, is the other capabilities of drones. Perfect example. They used a drone the other day to spray disinfectant through the entire Atlanta Falcons stadium. Who's to say that that couldn't have been Ag Eagles? Obviously, I don't know what company they used, but there's a chance that that could have been an Ag Eagle drone that got the attachment put on it and is spraying, the disinfectant inside stadiums. I mean, you got to think too. I started thinking sports. Say Ag Eagle, a company comes out and partners with Ag Eagle and they attach like some HD high tech camera and they start flying over sports and like you're getting a different perspective of a sports game because of a drone. I mean, who knows the capabilities? There's so many. I mean, with these boxes that Ag Eagle got with, I always forget the name. Gotta refer back to it. Valkyrie. That's such a cool name. I need to keep remembering. But you got to think with Valkyrie, who's to say that down the road, Uber Eats, Postmates, all that type of service, if you live relatively close, you do a service. Say I go to Postmates and I want a drone delivery of, I'm just going to use this example, a Big Mac. And, all the person, the employee at Walmart walks out, lets the drone take the meal, it scans it or whatever, it sends it and just takes it to your house and drops it in that Valkyrie box. There's so many different options. So many different options. What's my price target in 2021? That's hard to answer. And the reason I say that is because it all just depends on what continues to happen. I think with quarterly earnings, like I said, because they're about to announce on November, a guy came out on my video today and oh, that was loud. And he told me, let me see what he said. He told me when the date was going to be. I think it was November 11th, I believe is what he said. Yep. So he says they have to report the 11th of November at 2. So which would be probably after market, I'm assuming. So that tells me right there that I've heard nothing but positive things about quarterly earnings. I'm wondering if they've, conducted another contract purchase, like Amazon came in, swooped in some more or something, and just had a huge price. I think that, with them, who knows what with the Valkyrie deal it could come from. So it's hard for me to tell you. I would say, I think $5 by the end of this year, I'm hoping, after we get through, like, obviously the election and stuff. But if they announce anything with Amazon, I think that who knows, the sky is the limit. This is by far the hardest one for me to give a price target, just because there's so many things that could happen that would absolutely just attract people to it. Like, I mean, this is like you guys are experiencing what I was doing early on with Workhorse. Like, not a lot of people know about this stock. Not a lot of people are into this stock. And once big time YouTubers start talking about it, it might pop up on CNBC, Fox, Business News, and all these other ones. As soon as they start getting interviews, people start getting aware of them, and you guys will see what will start happening. Would you sell at that price, take profits? Obviously, honestly, I was talking about that today too. I'm in since I got 2,000 shares right now, and it's like right pushing $6,000 total. I don't know that I would. I mean, I might take some, but I wouldn't even know how much to take, honestly. Like, I probably have to take some. There's no question. I mean, being $1 million, that'd be, and like my goal is to push to 5. So if it gets to 5, or if I get to, I was trying to figure out the math because I'm not the greatest at math. So if I have 5,000 shares and it gets to, we'll just say $50, that's 250,000. And then if I have 5,000 shares and it gets to, we'll say 150, that's 750,000. So if it got to $200, I'm a millionaire. So then 5,000, if it gets to the price target at which they are predicting 400, we'll say 450, that's $2.25 million on one stock that is 5,000 shares. I would probably cut at least $1 million out of that and then let the rest ride. If it's getting to that point, you're talking Tesla stuff. Who knows what else it could do? Tesla could erupt at any time. Yeah, capital gains will be. You're not you're that is I talk about that all the time too. I'm like, God, I cannot. I'm excited for capital gains, like the whole idea of getting the money, but then it's like I gotta pay taxes on that. What are SPAC companies? Is it safe to invest in a SPAC companies? So Ravi, I'm hoping I'm saying your name right. So basically, a SPAC company or a SPAC at least is a bunch of people come together. In some cases, it's big time investment companies, or it's just people with a lot of money. Because a perfect example would be the space company that I'm getting in, Momentus. So there's a bunch of like celebrity type people that are coming together, throwing some funds together, and they're getting a huge amount of money put together. And what it is it allows that company to then merge to the stock market, and they take that money and they start putting it towards whatever they want to use that money for. But it allows them to start trading, basically get to the stock market in a quicker way, a quicker fashion in a way. So yes, it's safe to invest into SPAC companies, but like I always tell anyone, make sure you do your due diligence and make sure it's a stock that's you're interested in, because the SPAC isn't the stock. The stock is going to be on the backside. So a perfect example was Hyliion. I don't know if you're Ravi. I don't know if you're familiar with Hyliion. Hyliion just did a SPAC merger. So before it was Shell, the company was Shell Acquisitions. Shell Acquisitions took it to the market, raised them the money, and then once it gets to that point, the voters are the shareholders. They vote to either make it its own company, or honestly, I'm not familiar with the other option. I'm assuming it just keep trading under the SPAC, but it's a way to raise money. SRAC, let's go, Randy. No question. I think I like I said, I don't know if you were in here before, but I like SRAC better than Virgin Galactic. I think SRAC provides a better service than I think Virgin Galactic does. I don't have anything against Virgin Galactic, and I've been an investor, but I will be a long-term investor in SRAC, no question. I think that they're going to provide an amazing service, and then with them to have a partnership with SpaceX, NASA, the customer is NASA, and so many other companies that involve in space, unbelievable. I got a vote from Robinhood for DPHC. Do you know when the merger date is? Man, don't say the H word. That one is still raw. Man, you're telling me. I think it's October 22nd, Tim. October 22nd is going to be the merger date for Diamond Peak Holdings transferring over to Lordstown. And that one is going to be special. I don't care what anybody says. That one is going to be special. It's going to mean a lot to me, because that's one I've been waiting for a long time. I've been waiting for that one before Hyliion. And yeah, that one stings. $47. Not a good entry point. That one I'm not going to say it's a loss, because you don't lose until you sell. But that is one that it's a lesson learned. I believe in the company, but I should have saw that one. Should have saw it. Should have saw that one for sure. Yeah, I've been voting for these mergers. It's the first time I've actually been doing stuff like that, and I merged. Got to get going, Lucas. I'll catch you next live stream, brother. Appreciate it, Duckster. Good talking to you on the side too, man. It's good to talk to you. Keeping up on the Instagram. I'll take a second to talk about that too, guys. If you haven't had a chance, if you're new here, swing by my Instagram at Murphy4848. Give me a follow. You guys will get all kinds of information about this YouTube channel. You guys will get up to dates on, kind of what I'm looking at. I post on my story, during the day, some of the stocks that I'm keeping track of and all kinds of stuff. Today, we were listening to Backstreet Boys. That's what fired us up for this live stream. So take it easy, Duckster. Yeah, looking at that negative gain hurts, man. Yeah, I'm down like $1,000. And I'm like, what could I have done with that money? Yeah, so that one hurts. That easily could have been another 1,000 shares of Ag Eagle. Or I could have bought some SRAC, or I could have bought some more desktop metal. Randy Michael, Flying Eagle or RMG? Ooh, let me check on RMG real quick. Ooh, that's a tough one, my friend. So Randy, I am not invested into Flying Eagle. Obviously, I did a video on Flying Eagle. Because I definitely, no question, see a future for that. When you're talking competitive, sports, but then you're talking competitive esports. I mean, I know how I was when I was younger. When it came to video games, slap $10 down, bet your buddy, bet your brother, bet your whoever, and you're like, hey, let's play a game of Madden. I'm just using an example, but let's play a game of Madden. I know how intense it got to win that $10. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like having competitive esports with continuous tournaments and just continue. I mean, there's always growth opportunity for that. So that's a tough one. RMG, I think RMG is going to be very special. And the reason I say that is because they are providing a ton of batteries for the future. I mean, clearly they're involved with Workhorse and so many others. And I am definitely invested in RMG. So I can't honestly answer that one anyways, Randy, because I'm not a financial advisor, but whew, that's a tough question. Lucas, do you have a baby? Yes, I do. I didn't actually have it, but we have one together. I got 2 more back here too. Yeah, man, the baby feeling better this week. Yeah, he is. Took him he had a 15-month appointment, and they said that he's doing great. We just got to get through like the junky kind of a cold coffee, green nose type stuff. So we're getting through that, but yeah, he's doing pretty good. I appreciate you guys asking, especially Tim. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, down 1,500 this week, Randy. I feel you on that one, man. Feel you on that one. Yeah, I feel it's so understandable that radar, and now since people aren't going out, I think the next few years is going to go crazy. But RMG supplying batteries for what the future holds. Yeah, man, that's tough. That's really tough. It's crazy to think that. I don't know if you guys look at it the same way I do, but I start envisioning what these stocks do as a company and like seeing kind of like a vision for them. And I could just see the amount of batteries to all the numerous companies. And that's the thing. If Romeo can really perfect a great electrical vehicle battery and continuously do kind of what, I would say Tesla's doing in a way, not to the extreme extent, but if they can maintain a great battery, they're going to be providing a lot of batteries to a lot of companies. And that is tremendous. And then, I mean, like you said, gaming, it's just kind of like a trend. I mean, YouTube obviously became a thing. People wanted to become YouTubers. And, I can say I joined the party. But that's a way to get out there. It's the same with video games now. People are competitively competing in video games. I mean, hell, there's teams. They have uniforms. They go on stage and there's crowds and they get paid millions of dollars. Like when I was doing the research on Flying Eagle, skills, obviously, the winner of the biggest winner of 2019 in esports gaming took home like $3.2 million to play video games. It's unbelievable. Unreal. It's kind of funny that because Duckster, I don't know if you guys know, Duckster's 15 years old. He was kind of asking me, what I thought about life advice. Maybe like when I was going through it, it'd been a little bit easier, but there's so many different avenues you can take now and become successful in life. You just have to kind of push yourself and you have to have a no quit mentality. If it's something you're interested in, perfect example is this YouTube, guys. I'm never going to quit. I'm putting in the work. It's exciting. It's fun. It's an enjoyment because I get to interact with you guys. But once I started it, I realized that it's that. And there's a bigger chance and so much potential with it. Same goes for things in life now. Like if you truly are good at video games, push it. Push it to the limit. See what you're doing. Practice your craft. That's what's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, like Twitch blew like crazy the last 5 years. Yeah, man. I mean, that's what's amazing. I think that Twitch is obviously going to be one of the ones that go down as the originators. But I think a lot more people are going to start expanding out because Twitch has got to a point where they're pretty strict on certain things. And I follow some people that have done Twitch forever. And so, I mean, and we know exactly what Ninja's deal was. He left Twitch. So, yeah, Tim Duckster's 15, man. And he's an investor. I mean, it's cool. That's unbelievable. It's never gonna set in for me. And then when he's 16, I'm gonna be like, holy crap, this guy's only 16 years old. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let's see where we're at. I hate how the screen gets dark when I switch. For some reason, my actual YouTube's in night mode, but then like my YouTube studio is in day mode. Yeah, my YouTube was all like my live stream stuff was all screwed up. I went to start live streaming and it wouldn't let me start, and I was like, uh-oh. Man, I tell you, there's some bots on YouTube too. It's crazy to think that there are people that come on here to just put like sweetie girls online, erotic private chat online. Like, get out of here, man. Like that, I don't want any part of that. You're trying to scam. He's much more mature at 15 than I was. I was playing baseball, trying anything and everything to talk to females. I didn't even know what a stock portfolio was. That's what I was trying to explain to him. I definitely think he's way more advanced. And like I was trying to tell him too, like there's no reason you can't do some of that stuff and still be successful with the stocks and focusing in on that. Like it's just I wish I knew what I you say that all the time. I wish I knew now, or I wish I knew then what I know now. Because holy smokes. Yeah, Tim, I'm trying, man. I just want to get to 1,000 so bad. I'm so close to the 4,000 hours. I think I'm less than 600 hours away, which, when you stay consistent, that's not going to be anything. It's the 300 subscribers. Like, I just want to get there. I just want to get it so bad. I mean, I'm not going to force it. Like, I'm not going to just start putting out crap videos, but man, I'm seeing the light. 300. I remember sitting at like 100 and thinking like, God, how am I going to get 900 people? How am I going to get 900 people to follow my channel? And now I'm like, I just need 300. I appreciate it, Tim, though. Yeah, it's a great feat. It's still hard for me to like fathom that I have 700 people who took the time to just hit subscribe. Like, it blows my mind. Appreciate it, Randy. I know. I just gotta stick with it, man. And that's what's keeping me humble. That's what's keeping me driving. I don't know if you were in here yet, Tim, or not, but one thing I was talking about is I'm going to continue to stay diversified. Like, I can tell you the last couple of videos I've put out haven't been the most successful. Like, Skills that only attained 87 views. Momentous is at 179. And the last Workhorse video I put out, which was absolutely, to me, was one of the best Workhorse videos I've ever put out, has only gotten 234. And then Ag Eagles today was only 129. But the thing is, I want to stay diversified. I don't want to get stuck and caught up by just doing the same videos over and over and over again. Like, I can only hit on Workhorse doing something so much before it starts becoming speculation. And you start kind of just, beating a dead horse, no pun intended. But, I mean, I want to make sure that I'm providing you guys the content and providing you guys stocks that, I'm looking at. That's the whole point. And so then we can talk about it on Fridays. I think I'm glad you brought up NIO. I think NIO is going to be amazing. Like one of the big ones that I think I was kind of negative on very early on. That was Fisker. I still think Fisker has a long way to go, but I think Fisker is starting to get things in place too. I think the craziest thing when I started really kind of like doing the research on that one again was 2022 is going to be amazing for this country. And the reason I say that is just because the electrical vehicle is going to be absolutely just roaring onto scene in 2022. So many companies, if they can stay on pace, we don't get smashed with another pandemic. If we can stay the course, 2022 is going to be unbelievable for the electrical vehicle market. There's so many companies that are like, hey, we're going to be releasing our vehicles in 2022. And there's so many out there that we don't even know about yet. That's what's crazy. Because just think like in China has 400 companies that are involved with either producing a car, putting parts and manufacturing cars, but they have 400 plus businesses that are related to the electrical vehicle market. And who knows, at this point, it could be more because that was like a couple months ago. So, and another one I'm really excited about is Desktop Metal. You guys kind of sold me on Desktop Metal. I started doing my homework. I did a video on it. Man, get to talking, my throat gets scratchy. It's easy to fall into that trap. I appreciate you. Don't do that garbage, man. I have to weed through all the clickbait to a point where I don't watch a ton of them or watch a lot of them. I know when you drop a video, it's quality info so I watch them all. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, and that's one thing too. Like I don't, if I do a speculative or somewhat of a clickbaity type video, I do have an intention behind it that is going to be, hey, like I'm not just providing you wishful thinking. I'm providing you information that ties it to potentially. And my perfect example of that is with Workhorse, tying it to like the likes of Walmart. I'm still convinced that Walmart has been heavily talking to Workhorse, and they just want to see some things start happening first because of how backlogged Workhorse is. I think once the backlogs get, kind of off the books, I wouldn't be surprised if down the road after the USPS contract is announced, if at some point Walmart just comes out and says, hey, we're going to just start doing a test run, and we're going to, do a very, very similar situation like Amazon, where Amazon did a test trial with Rivian before they announced that they were going to go into a full-on partnership with them. I could see Walmart doing something very, very similar. And it's a package deal. So if I do a somewhat clickbaity or a video, it's going to be something like that, where like I still provide supporting evidence for it being a possibility. Yeah. There's some, man. I've seen some people who have made a ton of success on sticking or finding a niche, narrowing it down, and then even going tighter to where it's like one company. And anytime a news information breaks on that, you're presenting a video on that. And and if you are successful doing that, I have nothing against that. But I want to provide a different, outlook. I want to be as, I guess you could say, one-on-one with you guys. Like I'm not the most, deeply intelligent person when it comes to stocks, but I do my homework. I do my research, and I provide that to you guys. Also, my favorite thing about the thumbnail, don't have that stupid shock face everyone posts. I don't know why, it just annoys me to the end. Yeah, I try to smile on some, but I try to stick with the same ones. I try to rotate the same ones. There's one that I look shocked, but the only time I really do that one is if it's truly like a shocked moment. But all the other ones, I try to stick with the same ones and rotate them through. Yeah, there's always that one where they're like, and it's like, come on now. I mean, I could be like JT Wealth and just keep the same face all the time, but just like, be like this. Man, I just can't believe, what blew me away was that when Fuzzy Panda put that hit out, they called her out, they called Jack out, they called investing with Henry out. They called out quite a bit of people. And Jack's, I think as of right now, I've seen Jack to be the only one to respond. Obviously, he was number one on their hit list, but all the other ones kind of brushed it off and ignored it. It's like, come on, they want to battle like they're putting out a diss track on you, and you got to respond. It's like Eminem and MGK. Eminem finally responded. Like, is JT Well finally going to respond? Is investing with Henry finally going to respond? Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised by that entire hit. It's crazy to me that that's where we're at with that stock too. It's like Roth Capital. What the F was that? How do you 3 days prior come out and say, oh, we're all about this stock. We're all about it. If they get the contract, which we're predicting on October 13th, our price target is $33 and we're all about this stock. Yay. And then 3 days later, and it's like early in the morning, and just like anyone else, we're like, well, we're anticipating the stock. And the same email that every person has seen comes out from the USPS, PR person that supposedly they just get, it's unbelievable. They get that, and 3 days later, they're like, oh, we're going to reduce our price target point back down, and we're going to, take the stock price down to neutral, and, sorry, we just don't feel that they're going to get it's like 3 days. That's unbelievable. I think, like Jack said too, Roth Capital has lost some credibility with me for doing that. And it's not just because I'm invested in it, but when you put a price target or a price point out, you expect that to happen for a long period of time, not 3 freaking days. Yeah, funny how the stock reacted upward on a hit piece. Yeah, because then, well, and what helped that too, and it's funny because they counteracted each other. Fuzzy Panda puts the hit piece out, then Roth Capital drops they're all infamous, and then they counteracted each other. Well, then Roth Capital kills their previous stuff, and it is garbage. And that's what I think is most frustrating to me is that, you have these major investment institutions who are trying to really get a price to a certain point so they can just invest as much as they possibly can. And I think too, it's just a lot of people have never done their homework and really truly understand what the company's all about. I completely, no question, 100% understand that not everyone's a long-term investor. And I completely understand that there are different ways to make money in the stock market. But there is no reason this stock should be doing what it's doing in the manner at which it's doing. I'm convinced that they're manipulating the stock price to the absolute floor, and then the people in the know buy in. Exactly. I mean, that's another reason why I think I'm glad that I got what I did, and I'm not constantly feeding into it, because one, I'd be raising my stock price target, way up. And then two, like, I could get in at, well, I'm just going to use an example. Let's say it's at $18. And the next day, someone might put out a hit piece on it for whatever reason, and it drops down to like 15, and there's no reason for it. Gray minds think alike. The beards think alike. Yeah, I think, it's just, that's frustrating. I think the next positive catalyst for Workhorse is going to be on October 22nd when Lordstown merges. I'm excited to see what it does. So one thing I want you guys to remember, and I'm going to pull it up real quick just so you guys, I can't remember exactly what the news was. I'm pretty sure it was the vehicle, if I might be mistaken. But we had like a 20% run. Yeah. So it won't let me go back that far because obviously the week passed. We had a 20% run from like basically the early part of October until just like October 13th, the last 5 days. It was like a 20% run. And then obviously from October 12th down to October 12th, we had a 22% drop off, $6.50. And then if we get from that point all the way to today, basically, it was a 22% drop, $6.56. All because we didn't get the contract yet. Makes sense. To be honest, I'm not watching Workhorse videos anymore, bro, with the exception of yours. I wish I could just forget about the stock. I'm not selling, so trying to drown out the noise. I'm right there with you. You know, I'm going to keep doing videos when it's relevant, but I'm not just going to keep doing videos just to hype it up because, you know, I have a vision for it, and I don't want to be that person that eventually gets so fixated with it. People start asking me, well, you said it was going to, and I don't want any of that. That's not what I want. I'm here to provide a service, but provide you, useful information. I don't want to keep pounding on a video or a company that eventually I'm having to answer for because it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Not happening. That's why I do all kinds of different ones. I feel maybe eventually it might get like that with Ag Eagle, but that's just because I feel I'm just so pumped about it. But in a way, I'm just providing information. I'm not giving dates specifically to be like, hey, on December 20th, expect Ag Eagle to do this. I'm like, hey, here's everything that, is going on. Quarterly earnings is a little different because we know quarterly earnings are going to happen. And I may be off. I mean, maybe they have a bad quarterly earnings. I don't feel they will, but it could happen. And, I'd have to answer for that. But I'm not going to sit there and keep telling you guys dates at which a contract is going to be signed just to be completely off. That's not what I'm going to do. And I want to keep informing you guys on up and coming stocks and SPACs and everything. That's fun. Finding new ones. But then the problem is I don't have all the money to invest in all these. It's like, dang. Like I want to just get 1,000. I was thinking about it today. It'd be nice to get 1,000 shares of SRAC. It'd be nice to get 1,000 shares of, because that's kind of always been my goal. Originally it was 100 shares, but now it's like I want to get 1,000 shares. So I wanted to get 1,000 shares of Multiplan. I wanted to get 1,000 shares of RMG, which is going to be, converting over to Romeo. My intent is to get to 5,000 shares with Ag Eagle. So I have moved past, Workhorse. Obviously, I still believe in it. I'm no question. I'm a believer in it. I think my next big one is going to be Lordstown. Obviously, Lordstown's merging, and they have figured out whoever is running that marketing department. Give them props. I mean, Joe Burrows as the head of your, there's a shirt after Joe Burrows. Genius. I wanted the shirt, and now I want a truck even more because Joe Burrows is the face of it. Stud. The guy is doing his possible best. Yeah, for sure, man. I think about it every day, every single day. I'm definitely, I don't want to be that person that constantly talks about selling out when it comes to Workhorse because that's not what I want to do either. I have a vision for it. But with Workhorse, because I have held it so long, once I get to my goal is to, once it gets to $100, because I do see it getting to $100, that's when I'm going to withdraw my original investment. And then when I get my original investment back, that's when I'm going to start pouring it into the other stocks. Definitely going to get Ag Eagle up to there before then, though. No question. Man, just holy smokes. I saw a guy today that posted, whether it's real or not, because who knows, but because he didn't attach a photo with it. But he stated that he had 8,000 shares of Workhorse at $2.62. And that was in a group chat I'm in. Just imagine that. I want one of those trucks bad. I'm telling you, man, those things are sweet. They're, and for them to be able to have the capabilities of what they do, that's what's impressing to me. I think that they're going to obviously go through a trial phase where they, get their trucks out and they get them to the customers, and they might have some, every truck coming off the line is not going to be perfect. And you're talking fully electric, so they may have some issues at times, but I think it's going to be very impressive to see all the capabilities of these and to see a new vehicle like that on the road. It's going to be unbelievable. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how they're handled in the wintertime because, like, where I live, we get at times we get a foot of snow. And if, say, someone up in the north part of the United States where they get tons and tons of snow, how is the truck going to handle in that? Is it going to be heavy enough? Are you going to have to put some weight in the back, even though it's truly 4-wheel drive? Like, those are the things that I want to see, at least see some reviews on. It's not that I wouldn't get the truck, because I definitely 100% would get the truck, but I want to see some of that other stuff come out. Clearly, the motor's in the wheel. So, and like, what are the costs if something, say the warranty goes out and you have to replace a wheel and it has the motor in it? Like, what's the cost running for that? Those are questions I have. But I'd be excited to see all that. It'd be pretty cool. I know about all that, Tim. I appreciate it, Tim. I really appreciate you swinging by and all the support, my friend. I'm waiting for my January Workhorse $40 option. Those gains will build my Neo SBE or CLSK and RMG. See, and Randy, you're an example of, I would say, a different style of investor. And the reason I say that is because a lot of these people that I see are buying into Workhorse, and I'm using Workhorse as an example because that's the one I see the most. They're buying in and they're selling, but then they're just buying back into Workhorse. They don't have the intent of, getting the profits that they're making and putting them into something else that's going to help them continue to grow. They're just trying to, slow play and build off a Workhorse. So I like that. If you're going to sell it, have a plan. That's my entire thing. If I have an intent to sell, that sell is going to turn into a buy for a reason. Like, I know exactly where I'm going with it, and there's a reason why I'm selling. I'm not just selling because, I just feel like today is a sale day. You know what I mean? But there's a ton of them out there. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see the potential. I do really want to get through the election. I think a big part of it's the election. And I think as we get through the election, it's really just, we're going to start to see some stocks do some things. Like I keep talking about not a lot of people want to hear about Apple. Apple is by far one of my favorite stocks. It potentially is my number one stock. And obviously with the iPhone 12 coming out, in the amount of revenue and the amount of people that are going to purchase the iPhone 12 and every series or level, however you want to call it, is going to be astronomical. I mean, it's going to be a generational buy for a lot of people. And I think that the iPhone is, it's a staple in American history. And just the amount of revenue that they're going to generate. Plus, you got to think all the stuff that's continuously going to be purchased for not only the holiday time, but for the COVID. Because I'm hearing a lot of businesses are going to be talking about, pushing when people are returning to work, even because a lot of people are still working from home. They're pushing it back to past Q1. So you're talking past March. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be dependent upon electronics at home. And, whether their business is buying them or they feel personally that they need them at home, there's going to be a lot of people buying electronics up. And Apple is a staple. I'm 200 shares in Workhorse as well, $19 cost basis to keeping those long. Man, I think 19's good. And the reason I say that is because, it could potentially get down to 19 again with no news. Obviously, the ghost date of October 13th and 14th have passed, and it could potentially get down to 19. But if, let's say, the stock gets to $75, does 19 look bad? I mean, 19 looks like a good entry point to me, especially if it gets to 75. So I do not think that that's a bad entry point. I think that now anything above, and this is just me, anything above 24, that's where I think you're almost a wash. I mean, obviously you'd be losing money at this point, I do believe, because I think it finished at what? I can't figure out the space bar. So today it closed basically at $23. So yeah, $22.89. It looks like it went up 20 cents extra in the after. Yeah, so $22.89. Yeah, so basically 20. I'd say 23 almost. I think once you're getting to that point, you're basically a wash. I mean, $30. $30. I think it's going to be a little bit before we see $30 again. Just because, I don't know if we hit $30 on Lordstown's merger. I think that we get past a little bit further than, where we're at now. But I think it's going to need some major, major catalyst to get it back to $30. I'm hoping I'm wrong because I would love to see it. But I think that the biggest catalyst as of right now for majority of the people is the USPS contract, and rightfully so. I mean, I figured it would spike a lot more than it did because people started noticing that there was an upside down prototype looking model of the USPS truck in the background of the picture today that they took of all their, new employees coming in for orientation. But yeah, there was so much speculation around that. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if that was planted. I don't know if it was a mistake. But people are like, are those mirrors in the background? Like, that looks like the mirrors that go on the truck. All kinds of stuff. Come here. You want to get behind? Do you want to get behind? Come on. No, let's not get down. It's all talk until they release contract. I agree. At this point, it's speculation. And I think they set it up that way. I truly do. And the reason I say that is because if you seriously think about it, people were anticipating October. Well, let's back up. I can't remember what the original date was, but they were anticipating the first date. And the stock price went up. And it was kind of factored in. And a lot of people will tell you to buy the hype, sell the news. And I think the same thing was going for obviously October 13th and October 14th. Buy the hype. A lot of people got in. We started getting back to that $30 mark, and it didn't happen. And obviously they're selling. I think the biggest thing now and what's going to be for long-term holders is the surprise effect. When that news is released, and I'm just going to use this number as an example, let's say they come out and they say, hey, Workhorse not only got the contract, but they have gotten 80% of that contract. The stock price is going to absolutely explode. I mean, it truly is. People are just going to, especially if it's been flirting and floating around this $20 area, man, I'm telling you what, that thing is going to, people need to breathe. But I do think it will use for votes, in my opinion. So around November, I agree. I can agree with that. I mean, you got to think too, the Democratic Party is heavily, Green New Deal, fully electric. And so, if Biden gets in, then maybe it does absolute wonders for Workhorse. I still feel that even if Trump gets in, it's still going to do wonders because this is the direction at which the USPS is headed. Most people forget the United States Postal Service is not a government entity. I mean, it's being funded for this contract through the government, but it is not a government entity. They are ran by themselves. So, I mean, it's a completely different beast. Here, get back there. If you guys ever see me leaning all weird in front of my video, you guys know why now, because I end up having a dog behind me. Yeah, I agree. People need to breathe, but that's the thing is too. I understand people are not every single one of them are long-term investors. There's a lot of people out there trying to make money off of the stock market, and they're trying to do it, day to day or swing trade it where they do it multiple days, but it's very short. And I think that, and that's one of the benefits of being in the stock market. So I can just tell you, I'm gonna be there for the long haul. And when it does pop, it's going to be exciting. We might do a live stream that day where we're just popping champagne and drinking beers. I'm sure you spoke about it already, but I'm so back and forth with an NDM. Wait to drop or it will keep soaring. Let's take a look. Honestly, I haven't actually, and I'm gonna be 100,000% with you. I saw Jack did a video on this, but I have yet to check this stock out. I want to check it out, and I'm probably going to after I get off of this live stream. Because I saw him do the video on it, and it did intrigue me. Like, I didn't actually watch the video yet, but I saw that he did the video on it. So I'm definitely going to look into it for sure. I mean, for it, and I'm just looking obviously at the chart, but back in May, it was at 75 cents. And by May 19th, it had ran 353.3%. That was up $2.65. Looks like the entire summer it kind of trended down, which it was still up 128%, which was basically $1. Looks like it rose again. So from that low point, it rose 49% and then fell back down to where it was down 30 cents, down 17.54%. And then it looks like we have engaged and have taken off an additional 187% to get to where it's at today. So I'm going to do my homework on that one. And there's a chance that that one could be a video. It's a new stock. It's up and coming. And it sounds like it might be something for the future. Nano Dimensions. Together with its subsidiaries, provides additive electronics in Israel and internationally. Its flagship product is the proprietary Dragonfly Lights Out digital manufacturing system, a precision system that produces professional multi-layer circuit boards, radio frequency antennas, sensors, conductive geometries, molded connected devices for prototyping through custom additive manufacturing. Yeah, a 10-year process, but a monster if it goes. 3D printing motherboards and other electronics, kind of crazy. Yeah, that sounds like it. It's funny you say Nick, because I like, that concept, but one I do like, I just saw it. Desktop Metal. I like Desktop Metal a lot. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to do probably down the road, I'll do another video on it. But what I like about them is that they're selling their system basically, and the system does the service for the company. And so, like, I've seen some partnership, like they have a partnership with Callaway, I believe. I mean, think about that. They might be 3D printing golf clubs. That's unbelievable. And then obviously they just announced that major partnership. Yeah, TRNE. Had them sold before, but might get back in later. I think, yeah, And I think with Desktop Metal too, I think with them getting the contract with the, obviously with the defense, because it's a DoD award, which I think most people kind of, being in the military, a DoD award is a big deal. I mean, that's a lot of credibility right there. So it says it awards Desktop Metal 2.45 million to develop cobalt-free hard metal AM process. I mean, that's to get for them to, like I said, to get the partnership with them plus the 2.45 million. That does a lot for a company. I mean, these are not big companies. Obviously, they're getting the SPAC merger money, but for them to generate revenue like that and to already have a contract, I think that speaks volumes. There's not a lot of them that come out immediately that are already getting contracts like that. That's why I was so kind of believing in Hyliion. I believed in Hyliion for so long because they had produced over 30,000 vehicles, had put out 2 million plus miles on those vehicles, or even just the parts that went retrofitted. And so I really had a great feeling. But then I started to realize after I invested in way too high is that they don't really have a positive catalyst now. And, their quarterly earnings might be coming up eventually, but what are they going to really have and things like that. But, I'm a long-term investor in Hyliion, and I do think eventually it'll come back. Hey, I appreciate it, Randy. I appreciate that, my friend. And I really appreciate you swinging by, and enjoy the rest of your work. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you swinging by. We'll probably try to push it out for a little bit longer. I see that there are 6 people hanging out. Let's see what you guys got. Let's see what you guys got in the chat. Be interested to talk with some of you guys. Obviously we still can talk about ChargePoint, old SBE. Obviously there's some other things we could talk about. Skills, Valkyrie, and AgEagle. I've hit on that quite a bit, but man, like I said, I could talk about that for days. I'm excited. Let's go ahead and talk about that. AgEagle stock. AgEagle stock. I wish the Wichita Business Journal was open and you didn't have to provide a service, because I feel like they probably wrote a pretty good article, especially since AgEagle is based in Wichita. So Investor Place wrote a pretty good article. It says UAVS stock flies 9% on the Valkyrie. It's not Valkyrie, it's Valkyrie. Valkyrie deal. And Investor Place actually has had some pretty bullish, people writing for them when it comes to AgEagle. Obviously they have their ones aren't, and they're probably short on the stock. But for the most part, they've had some pretty bullish, writers. And so it kind of talks about, it says AgEagle Aerial Systems notes that the deal will have its manufacturing the stations at its new facility in Wichita, Kansas. The drone delivery stations are being made to meet the standards set in Valkyrie's patents. And that was a big thing too. Valkyrie obviously has patents on these, devices. And that's what I think is very significant, because it's now a partner with AgEagle. And that's absolutely tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. I just think there's so many opportunities for this stock. I mean, there are so many different avenues that drones can go. They can deliver packages. They can deliver food. They can deliver medicines. They can, depending on what you're wanting to use it for, it can be used as security. It can be used as a camera for a sporting event. It can be used to disinfect sporting events, as we can see. I mean, there's so many opportunities. It can obviously survey land, which is what the original invention of this was for. They've obviously modified it for delivering packages, but their original plan was to survey farming fields so that farmers could capitalize on their crops. That's a big deal. So I'm excited about this stock. I'm excited about where it's headed. And I think there's just a lot going for it. Definitely a lot going for it. So Let's see what else. There's Randy. Yeah, I want to give you guys kind of a shout out real quick. So if you guys have not, swing by and check out my Instagram. Honestly, it's where I put a absolute ton of information on my YouTube channel. I put out typically the night before what the video is going to be for the next day. I've changed the times at which I release those videos, so they are going to be out for the entire span of anyone anywhere they live. So I've been dropping them 7:30 Central Standard Time. So a lot of the time that's before people are awake or right as they're getting up and getting going. I realize a lot of people aren't immediately going to YouTube when they first wake up. They're probably getting ready for work and things like that. But I want you guys to have that option to be able to watch those. So I post the countdowns, let you guys know when the videos are coming out, what the topic's going to be about. And then throughout the day, I'll be updating you guys on information that comes out. Like, say, for example, if Workhorse decides to spike and go up for whatever reason, I will probably typically put a chart and talk about it. Kind of give you a quick thing. I do add some motivational stuff on there every once in a while, things that hype me up, kind of help me continue to stay motivated because I enjoy it. I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy bringing you guys this content every single day. It's a blast. It truly is. And doing this right here, coming on to live stream, interacting with you guys like Tim, Duckster, Randy, and so many others. I mean, I could go up the list. Anonymous American, Yug, you guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys swinging in, commenting, Ravi, commenting. I appreciate you guys. You guys are what's making this channel grow. The whole intent is to continue to provide content. We are so freaking close to 1,000 subscribers. And, that's going to be an amazing, amazing feeling. I can't wait, but it's already been very humbling. 700 people decided to hit that subscribe button. That's unbelievable. It means a ton. It truly, truly does. It's an unbelievable feeling. And I can't thank you guys enough. It's definitely what keeps me driving. And this channel is for all of us. I mean, it truly is. I'm here to provide you guys fun, entertaining videos because that's what I'm here to do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm here to entertain. So hopefully I am able to do that for you guys. So it is 10:30 my time. Well, 10:32 my time. So I think we've gone about an hour and 37 minutes, 38 minutes, just hit the hour and 38 minutes. We were actually probably for a little bit longer, but the live stream was originally screwed up in the beginning. I have no idea why. However, it was programmed. It was messed up. So I'm going to try to go a little bit longer. We might end up wrapping this thing up, let you guys start your weekends. If you do watch this thing all the way through, which I can see watching it for an hour and 40 minutes, that's a long time. But if you do, I do want to remind you guys, I will be live streaming every Friday that I possibly can, unless things come up. But for the most part, every single Friday we will be live streaming to kind of wrap out the week, talk about stocks, talk about things that happened during the week when it comes to business, investments. And, we might be talking about, the election stuff here coming up. Obviously, I am non-biased. I, have viewpoints for both ways. And I would not say that I'm a political person by any means. So, but it looks like we are wrapping this thing up. I do appreciate every single one of you guys swinging by. It means a ton. It truly, truly does. And like I wrap out every video, and like I'm going to wrap up every single one of these live streams. Have a good day. Hopefully you guys have a phenomenal weekend. You guys get whatever you want accomplished, and you guys get to spend amount of time with your family. And if, whatever else you want to do, hopefully it's positive. You guys enjoy it, and then we're going to kick it back in gear starting Monday. So I appreciate every single one of you. Have a good one.